3rd of December, critical condition continues. I've just left my mum's house after a shower, walked back down to Woodseats, went in the Wetherspoons and got a drink of water and a drink of cordial, put my phone on charge. Throughout that entire 3 hours, 4 hours, especially the walk down, critical condition, internal braking sessions, crippling transgressions, high risk defamation and mortification of self, crippling transgressions, stripping my power out in mortification of self, costing me every day of my life. I've just been sat in the Wetherspoons then, the relativising a detective constable saying not a bad looker and stripping all my power out, committing crime against me. In other words, trying to say that I'm not bad looking, but really imitating the fact I'm not a bad looker. And in fact, I've been, in other words, trying to tell you you've been staring at people. So basically making comments into my power that's flippant, that's got dual meanings or multiple meanings. So basically, with every bit of my ability to speak to somebody internalised into a detective saying to me, you're not a bad looker. In other words, into my fact that I'm not bad looking, but really meaning I'm not a bad looker in the fact I stare at people, or apparently I look at people. That's because that's what they've put in the system, that I stare at people and it's subject to getting me assaulted, or it's a problem with my genetics that they've put in themselves. So crippling, degrading still continues, still communicating into my power or relativising through my power. I'm not saying I'm hearing voices. They've encapsulated every bit of my ability to speak for myself into an interaction, and they just relativise for it all day. So they're essentially creating my life internally, and that's something they've been relativising tonight. Relativising, creating your power for you while committing crime against you, and sorry, like they are now. From last night, same as every other day, crippling apology by detectives, committing crime against me, costing me every day of my life, saying sorry into my power and stripping out any ability to think for myself or control over my own life. Like I said, I've just had to leave the Wetherspoons and I had my phone on charge in the Wetherspoons. I've got about 10% battery because I couldn't stay there. There's no point sitting there. I'm sat there in critical condition, crippling, degrading, with detectives saying sorry to me all day with every single bit of my life encapsulated. So they've created an internal punch bag whereby they inflict a crippling apology saying sorry with a magnitude of 1,000 crimes, and they're getting away with doing what they want. So I'm having my power pulled out, and all they've done anything wrong and imitating detectives, overpowering me, and they've got away with doing what they want, inflicting a crippling apology. Second by second state still continues. Entire life encapsulated into a detective constable committing crime against me and getting away with what he wants and saying sorry for it, leaving me in a critical condition. Second by second state still continues. Like I said, I've just been sat there in the Wetherspoons, charging pure shit into my power. Not a bad looker, sorry. If that's still that there in there, in other words, they're trying to say, if you're, whilst relativising this into my power, if you're still in a critical condition, them officers are in jail. If that's still that there in there, that's what I get put up with every day, shit like that. Basically making me acknowledge stuff in the system. I've not had anything to do with these officers in years. Some of them I've had nothing to do with ever. Critical condition, crippling apology all day, every day, committing crime against my power and stripping it out. Like I've said, they've encapsulated my entire life, and my life doesn't change outside of a detective saying sorry to me for 1,000 crimes and imitating, getting away with doing what he wants, and he's taking what he wants and overpowering me to do what he wants, and the situation's resolved because he's killed my power, saying sorry for it. So he's basically saying sorry for killing my power all day, every day, and getting away with what he wants, and imitating me not being able to do anything about it. Crippling, degrading still continues, imitating detective constables committing crimes, saying sorry for 1,000 crimes, costing me every day of my life. It's destroyed somebody's life so that they can make their own punch bag. I've just had to leave the Wetherspoons in a critical condition as the problem still continues. 3rd of December 2025, problem still continues.